Welcome to the Daily Stoic Reflections, your space to reconnect with inner peace, clarity, and timeless wisdom. Today's video is not just another dose of motivation, it's a deep dive into one of the most liberating truths Stoicism teaches us: you don't need to force life to make it meaningful. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by the pressure to control everything, this message is for you. We're going to explore 10 powerful Stoic lessons that will help you let go of the chaos, find serenity in the now, and finally live with purpose instead of pressure. So here's my challenge to you: watch this video to the end, not just halfway. Every part builds on the last, and I promise, by the end, you'll see life with a clearer, calmer perspective. If this resonates with you at any point, drop a comment below with "Go with the flow," and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you won't miss future reflections that can shift your life. 1. Live fully in the present. Time is limited. Focus on the now. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is simple, yet profoundly life-changing: be here, now. Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." That's not just poetic. It's a wake-up call. We often live either in the regrets of the past or the worries of the future. We replay conversations, mistakes, missed chances, or we obsess over plans, fears, and uncertainties that haven't even happened yet. But while our minds are somewhere else, life is happening right in front of us and we're missing it. Have you ever sat across from someone you love, maybe your partner, a parent, or even your child, and realized later you didn't truly hear what they said? Your mind was elsewhere. Maybe you were thinking about bills, work, or an awkward conversation earlier that day. That moment, that precious moment, is now gone. You were there, but not really. Stoicism reminds us that the only real moment we have is now. The past is gone. The future is uncertain. But this moment, this breath, this smile, this cup of tea, this sunset, this is where life truly happens. And when we root ourselves in the present, something magical occurs. We begin to see clearly. Anxiety fades, because anxiety lives in the what-ifs. Regret dissolves, because regret lives in the what was. What remains is peace. A deep, grounding peace. Let's take an example. Imagine you're on a walk. Normally, you might scroll your phone, rush to finish, or think about your to-do list. But today, you decide to be present. You feel the crunch of gravel under your shoes. You notice the wind brushing against your skin. You see the light flicker through the trees. You smile at a stranger walking past, and maybe they smile back. That one walk just became an experience of beauty and awareness, instead of a task to complete. Being present doesn't mean you ignore responsibilities or stop planning. It means you show up fully in conversation, in silence, in joy, in pain. It means you don't just go through life, you live it. So ask yourself, what is happening right now in this very moment? And how can you appreciate it more deeply? Whether you're drinking your morning coffee, spending time with a friend, or sitting alone in reflection, practice showing up fully. No distractions. No racing thoughts. Just presence. Because life isn't found in the rush. It's found in the stillness between the noise. And when you choose to live fully in the present, you'll discover that the simple joys you once overlooked were the real treasures all along. To understand the impermanence of life, everything changes. Life is in constant motion. Every moment, every breath, every thought, it's all passing. Nothing stays the same, and that's not something to fear, it's something to embrace. The Stoics, along with ancient thinkers like Heraclitus, taught that no man ever steps in the same river twice, for it is not the same river, and he is not the same man. This poetic line isn't just metaphor, it's truth. You are changing. Life is changing. That's the natural rhythm of existence. Yet how often do we resist change? We cling to the good times, hoping they'll last forever. We fear the bad, hoping they'll disappear instantly. We chase after permanence in an impermanent world, and that resistance becomes the root of our suffering. Let me ask you this. Have you ever held on tightly to a moment, a relationship, a phase of life only to feel crushed when it changed or ended? Maybe it was the end of a beautiful vacation. Or the day your child grew up and moved out. Or the moment you lost someone you deeply loved. In those times, it feels like life betrayed you. But in truth, it was simply doing what it always does. It was flowing. Stoicism teaches us to accept that nothing lasts forever, and that's what makes life so precious. When we understand impermanence, we stop taking things for granted. The smile of a friend becomes a treasure. The warmth of the sun on your face becomes a gift. Even the pain we experience, yes, even that is understood as temporary. It too shall pass. Imagine the seasons. Spring brings new life. Summer blazes with energy. Autumn whispers of change. Winter quiets everything down. And yet none of them last. But without each season, life would lose its balance and meaning. Your life is no different. So when things are good, cherish them without clinging. And when things are hard, endure them with patience, knowing they will not stay forever. Here's a simple practice. Each morning, take a moment to reflect on one thing that might not be here tomorrow. It could be a person, a feeling, or even your own youth. Let that reflection fill you with gratitude, not sadness. Because when we realize that everything is temporary, we stop wasting time, and we start appreciating what we have. Impermanence isn't something to fight. It's a teacher. It reminds us to live now, love fully, and let go when it's time. So the next time life shifts unexpectedly, don't panic. Don't resist. Take a deep breath, and remind yourself. This too is part of the flow. 3. The power of acceptance. You can't control external events, but you can control how you respond. Life is unpredictable. People will disappoint you. Plans will fall apart. Storms will come without warning. But here's a truth the Stoics understood better than anyone. We don't control the wind, but we can adjust our sails. Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, once said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." And within that truth lies the real power. We often overlook the power of acceptance. But let's be clear. Acceptance does not mean giving up. It does not mean becoming passive or indifferent. It means facing reality as it is, without illusion, and choosing to respond with wisdom instead of resistance. Think about this. Have you ever been in a situation where no matter how hard you tried, you couldn't change what was happening? Maybe it was the loss of a job. A breakup you didn't want. A diagnosis you didn't expect. In those moments, your first instinct might have been to fight, to deny, to wish it away. That's normal. It's human. But eventually, there comes a turning point where you realize, this is happening. I can't change it, but I can choose how I carry it. That's acceptance. And in that quiet shift from resistance to awareness, something powerful happens. The weight becomes lighter. Your mind becomes clearer. Your emotions calm down. Let's use a simple example. Imagine it's raining on the day of a long-planned picnic. You could get angry, curse the sky, feel frustrated. Or, you could accept it. Maybe you move the picnic indoors, laugh with friends in the living room, and end up creating memories even better than you imagined. The rain didn't ruin the day. Your reaction could have, but your acceptance saved it. Acceptance gives you emotional strength. It teaches you to bend, not break. To breathe, not panic. To adjust, not surrender. When you accept what you cannot control, you free up energy to focus on what you can. Your mindset. Your actions. Your response. And in doing so, you become unshakable not because life stopped being hard, but because you stopped fighting what you can't change. So, ask yourself, what am I resisting right now? And what would happen if I simply accepted it, not with defeat, but with clarity and courage? Because sometimes, acceptance is the first step toward healing, toward growth, toward peace. As the Stoics would say, let it be. But let yourself rise through it. For learn to let go. Holding on to pain or expectations creates suffering. There's a quiet kind of suffering that many of us carry every day, the weight of things we refuse to release. Old wounds, past mistakes, broken dreams, expectations that life should have gone differently. And yet, we hold on. We grip tightly to pain, thinking that if we let go, we'll lose a part of ourselves. But in reality, it's holding on that's hurting us. Letting go, that's where the healing begins. The Stoics knew this. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. And part of mastering your mind is knowing when to release what no longer serves you. Think of it this way. Imagine holding a burning coal in your hand. The longer you cling to it, the more it scorches your skin. But you're not letting go, not because you enjoy the pain, but because you think you have to hold it. Maybe it symbolizes justice, or love, or closure. But that coal doesn't owe you anything. And the moment you release it, the pain begins to fade. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean pretending you were never hurt. It means choosing peace over resentment, freedom over bitterness, clarity over chaos. Let's take a real-life example. Maybe you were in a relationship where you gave everything, your time, your trust, your heart. And it ended. You replay the what-ifs, the conversations, the choices. But none of it changes what happened. Every moment spent clinging to the past is a moment stolen from your present. Now imagine you decide to let go, not because they deserve it, but because you do. Suddenly, your heart feels lighter. Your mind is clearer. You have room again to grow, to breathe, to feel joy. Letting go isn't weakness. It's courage. It takes strength to say, this no longer belongs in my hands. And this isn't just about relationships. You can let go of the need to be perfect. You can let go of guilt you've carried for years. You can let go of expectations that never matched your truth. So ask yourself, what are you still holding on to? And what could your life look like if you finally let it go? Because once you learn to release the pain, the fear, the expectations, you don't lose anything. You gain everything. You gain peace. You gain space. You gain you. And that's a trade worth making. 5. Practice mindfulness. Be aware of your emotions and thoughts without judgment. In a world that moves at lightning speed, where distractions come in endless waves and pressure is constant, there is one ancient practice that brings us back to stillness, clarity, and inner peace. Mindfulness. Mindfulness is not a trend. It's not about sitting cross-legged on a mountaintop or pretending your mind is always calm. It's simply this, paying attention on purpose without judgment. To your thoughts, your emotions, your breath. This moment. The Stoics may not have used the word mindfulness, but they lived its essence. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. And that strength begins when you become the observer of your mind, not its prisoner. Let's say you're overwhelmed. Work is piling up. Someone said something that hurt you. Your thoughts are racing, emotions swirling. Most of us react automatically. We lash out. We shut down. But mindfulness creates space between what happens and how you respond. Imagine instead. You pause. You take a breath. You say to yourself, this is stress. This is anger. This is fear. And you notice it, without judging it. Suddenly, that emotion loses its grip. You haven't ignored it. You've simply seen it clearly, and in that clarity, you gain control. That's the power of mindfulness. It's not about controlling your thoughts. It's about not letting your thoughts control you. Let me give you an example. You're stuck in traffic. Late for a meeting. The frustration builds. Normally, you'd stew in it, maybe snap at someone, maybe carry that tension into the rest of your day. But today, you choose mindfulness. You take a slow breath. You feel the steering wheel in your hands. You acknowledge your frustration, but you don't become it. And just like that, you take back your peace. Mindfulness doesn't solve all your problems. It simply gives you the presence to face them with calm and clarity. You can practice it anywhere. While sipping your morning coffee, really taste it. While walking, feel each step. While listening, truly hear, without planning your reply. And in moments of chaos, simply ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Where is my breath? Can I be with this moment, just as it is? Over time, this daily awareness softens your reactions, clears your mind, and strengthens your soul. Because when you live with mindfulness, you no longer just survive your days. You experience them. Fully. Honestly. Gently. And in that presence, you discover the peace that was always waiting within you. 6. Use silence effectively. Silence is powerful. In a world that never stops talking, silence becomes sacred. We live in constant noise, notifications, conversations, expectations, opinions. The moment we wake up, the world rushes in. And in all that noise, it's easy to lose something incredibly valuable, our inner voice. But the Stoics knew the truth that wisdom doesn't shout, it whispers. And to hear it, we must be still. Silence is not just the absence of sound, it's the presence of awareness. It's the space where clarity is born, where your mind has room to breathe, and where your heart finally gets a chance to speak. Epictetus once reminded us, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. But how often do we truly listen, not only to others, but to ourselves? Think about a time you reacted impulsively, maybe out of anger, fear, or frustration. You said something you didn't mean. You made a decision you later regretted. What if, in that moment, you had chosen silence? Silence gives you a pause, and in that pause, there is power. The power to observe your emotions before they speak for you. The power to choose your response, not be ruled by your reaction. Here's an example. Imagine you're in an argument with someone you care about. Tensions rise. Words fly. Now imagine instead, you pause. You take a breath. You say nothing for a moment. In that silence, you hear not just their anger but their pain. And suddenly, instead of fueling the fire, you open space for understanding. That's the wisdom of silence. Silence is also where reflection happens. When you sit quietly, no phone, no music, no distractions, your thoughts begin to surface. And with them, truths you've been too busy to notice. Maybe you realize what's really bothering you. Maybe you remember what truly matters. Maybe, in the stillness, you find a solution you couldn't hear over the noise. Try this. Spend just 5 minutes a day in silence. Sit. Breathe. Listen. No judgment. No fixing. Just be. You'll be amazed at what rises from the stillness: insights, clarity, peace. And remember, silence isn't weakness. It isn't avoidance. It's strength under control. It's the calm before wisdom speaks. So ask yourself, when was the last time you were truly silent? Not just outside but inside. What did you discover in that stillness? Because sometimes, the most powerful thing you can say, is nothing at all. 7. Enjoy the journey, not just the outcome. Life's value lies in the process, not the destination. We live in a goal-obsessed world. We're told to chase the dream job, the perfect body, the big house, the ideal relationship. And while ambition has its place, the Stoics warned us, when you live only for the finish line, you miss the entire race. Marcus Aurelius put it simply, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Not the quality of your achievements. Not the medals, not the money, not the titles. But the way you experience the journey moment by moment. Let's reflect on this. How many times have you said to yourself, I'll be happy when? I'll relax after this project. I'll enjoy life once I've made it. But what if the struggle, the learning, the small wins, the failures, the growth, what if this is the life you're meant to enjoy? Imagine climbing a mountain. The peak is the goal, sure. But if you only fixate on getting there, you'll miss everything along the way. The sound of birds in the trees. The way the sunlight filters through the leaves. The conversations you have with those walking beside you. The strength you discover in yourself with every step. And then what happens when you finally reach the top? A moment of joy, maybe. A picture. A view. And then, what? You come back down. The journey is the experience. The peak is just a point. And this applies to everything. Your career? It's not just about promotions, it's about the lessons you learn, the people you meet, the moments you grow. Your relationships? Not about some ideal future but the everyday moments of connection, understanding, laughter, forgiveness. Even personal growth. It's not just about becoming your best self. It's about being present with who you are now and honoring the process of becoming. Here's a powerful practice. Each day, instead of asking, did I achieve my goal? Ask, what did I learn today? What did I enjoy? Where did I grow, even if no one noticed? Because when you shift your focus from the end result to the steps along the way, everything becomes more meaningful. You stop rushing. You start noticing. You find joy not in getting there, but in being here. And ironically, when you enjoy the process, the results often come faster because you're more engaged, more balanced, more fulfilled. So the next time you feel impatient or discouraged about where you are, remember this. Life isn't something to arrive at, it's something to walk through. And when you choose to love the walk, you've already won. 8. Find joy in the simplest things. True happiness lies in appreciating the small things. Think back to when you were a child. A falling leaf could fascinate you. A puddle could make you laugh. A hug from someone you loved was all you needed to feel safe and happy. Children don't wait for something grand to enjoy life, they just live it. They're not burdened by expectations, deadlines, or social pressure. They see magic in the ordinary. And somewhere along the way, we forget how to do that. But the Stoics never did. Marcus Aurelius once said, very little is needed to make a happy life, it is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. That's not just philosophy, that's a profound shift in perspective. We're constantly told that happiness lies in more success, more stuff, more followers, more money. But Stoicism gently reminds us, real joy doesn't come from having everything, it comes from noticing what you already have. Let me ask you. When was the last time you felt joy from something simple? Not a major achievement. Not a once-in-a-lifetime trip. But something small, quiet, and honest. Maybe it was the warmth of sunlight on your face. The smell of coffee in the morning. The sound of someone laughing nearby. A moment of silence at the end of a long day. These are the moments we overlook, yet they're the ones that actually make life rich. Here's a powerful truth. The more grateful you become, the less you need. When you begin to see beauty in the small things, you stop chasing after the big things. You stop comparing. You stop rushing. And in that stillness, happiness finds you. Let's take a real-world example. Two people can live the same day, go to work, eat dinner, watch the sunset. One races through, barely noticing. The other takes time to pause, breathe, smile. Same day. But one is filled with joy, the other with stress. The difference: awareness, presence, gratitude. Try this simple exercise. Each evening, write down 3 small things that brought you joy. Maybe it's your pet curling up beside you. Maybe it's a stranger's smile. Maybe it's your favorite song on the radio. Do this daily, and you'll begin to train your mind to see life through the lens of abundance, not lack. Because joy isn't a grand event waiting in the future. It's here. Now. In the warmth of your tea. In the pages of a good book. In the quiet moments no one else sees. Children know this instinctively. And you can remember it, too, by coming back to presence, gratitude, and simplicity. Life isn't made meaningful by the extraordinary. It's made sacred by the ordinary when you finally start paying attention. 9. The art of gratitude. Gratitude shifts perspective from scarcity to abundance. Gratitude is not just a polite thank you. It is a profound way of seeing the world, a lens that can turn even the harshest struggle into a source of strength, and the simplest moment into a blessing. The Stoics knew this. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." Gratitude transforms your life not by changing your circumstances, but by changing how you experience them. It moves you from scarcity, "I don't have enough," to abundance, "I have more than I realized." Let me ask you this. Have you ever gone through a tough time, a heartbreak, a setback, a loss, and yet still found something, however small, to be thankful for? Maybe it was a friend who showed up unexpectedly. Maybe it was the quiet strength you discovered inside yourself. That's the power of gratitude. It doesn't deny the pain, it shines light into it. Take the example of Viktor Frankl, the Austrian psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor. In the unthinkable darkness of a concentration camp, he still found reasons to be grateful: a kind word, a shared piece of bread, a glimpse of the stars through a crack in the roof. Gratitude helped him hold on to his humanity when the world tried to take it away. If gratitude can exist there, it can exist anywhere. And in your own life, you don't need a dramatic event to begin this shift. All it takes is a moment of awareness. Try this. Each morning or evening, ask yourself, what am I grateful for today? Not the big things, the small ones. A warm shower. A deep breath. The sound of your child laughing. The fact that, even if things are hard, you are still here. Because here's the truth. Gratitude is not about ignoring what's wrong. It's about not forgetting what's right. It grounds you in the present, sharpens your perspective, and opens your heart. When you live with gratitude, you begin to see the people in your life differently. You stop comparing, stop complaining, stop chasing things that don't matter. You begin to feel full, not because life is perfect, but because you've finally learned to see how rich it already is. So the next time you feel overwhelmed or discouraged, pause. Look around. Look within. And ask, what can I appreciate right now? Because once you master the art of gratitude, you won't just see the world differently. You'll feel different in it. Gratitude is the root of joy, the foundation of peace, and the seed of resilience. And best of all, it's always within your reach. 10. Value solitude. In stillness, we find ourselves. In a world that constantly demands our attention, where every second is filled with noise, notifications, conversations, and expectations, there's something rare and deeply powerful about solitude. Not loneliness. Not isolation. But solitude, the intentional choice to be alone with your own thoughts. To step away from the chaos and turn inward. Because in that stillness, you don't lose yourself, you find yourself. The Stoics often sought solitude, not to escape the world, but to reconnect with their values, their clarity, and their inner compass. Seneca once wrote, "The greatest thing in the world is to know how to belong to oneself." And solitude is how you begin to do that. Ask yourself, when was the last time you were truly alone, not just physically, but mentally? Not scrolling. Not multitasking. Not running from silence. Just you, sitting with your breath, your thoughts, your truth. Most people fear solitude because they're afraid of what they'll find in the silence. But the truth is, what you find there is exactly what you need. You meet your pain and begin to heal it. You meet your dreams and begin to hear them clearly. You meet your mind and start to understand how it works. Imagine taking a walk by yourself, no destination in mind. You hear the birds. You feel the wind. Your thoughts come and go like passing clouds. And suddenly, a realization rises from within, maybe about your life, a decision you need to make, or a truth you've been avoiding. Solitude creates space for insight. And not just personal insight, peace. Because when you are comfortable with solitude, you are no longer dependent on the world to give you meaning. You become your own source of calm. You stop chasing validation. You begin to trust your own voice. In solitude, there's no pressure to perform, no masks to wear. Just you, raw, honest, and whole. And when you emerge from that space, you return to the world stronger, more centered, more in tune with who you are and what matters most. So don't fear time alone. Cherish it. Protect it. Create it intentionally. Whether it's 10 minutes in the morning, a quiet afternoon with a book, or a walk under the stars, make solitude a sacred part of your life. Because in a world of endless noise, solitude is your sanctuary. It's where wisdom grows, and peace begins. And as the Stoics remind us, you cannot master the external world, until you've learned to be still within your own. You made it to the end, and that means you're not just a passive viewer, you're a seeker. A thinker. A modern Stoic in the making. What we covered today, from acceptance to mindfulness, from letting go to embracing simplicity, these aren't just ideas. They're life tools. And the more you apply them, the more peace you'll find. But now I want to hear from you. Which lesson hit you the hardest? Was it silence? The journey? The art of gratitude? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's grow together. If this message spoke to your heart, please give this video a like, subscribe to the Daily Stoic Reflections, and share it with someone who might need a gentle reminder today. Remember, the path to peace isn't about forcing life, it's about flowing with it. Until next time, stay grounded, stay present, and keep reflecting.